Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Today, we are going to continue writing. So, yesterday, you should have started your rough draft of your continuation of the story Magic Elizabeth. So, you should also remember to be using your graphic organizer that you made on Friday, where you wrote out what the problem is going to be and what the solution is going to be. That way, you know where you're going with your story. You just have to add in all those fun details that make it so interesting to read. So, you should have this doc from yesterday, Narrative Story Continued, where at the top of the doc, there is just the original story that we were given, that you read, and that we talked about. And then you get to a point where it says continue writing the story below. Just for an example, I have a brief continuation of the story that I wrote to be an example. But what I want you to focus on is one, making sure that it flows smoothly from the end of this story to the beginning of the next. Or the beginning of your writing. There shouldn't be a random jump in time or setting. It should make sense. It should smoothly flow from one sentence to the other. You shouldn't suddenly be talking in or adding dialogue from another character who you haven't introduced. You shouldn't be at a different place or a different time. It should be in chronological or in order as the events happen. So, yesterday, you were supposed to get through your rising action or those events leading up to your climax in your story. So you did a lot of the setup of where your story is going or what the problem is going to be. Your characters are starting to figure out what the conflict, the problem will be in your story. So just as an example, in my graphic organizer, I said the problem is going to be that they find out that Aunt Sarah doesn't exist for whatever reason. They can't figure out that they can't find her. No one has ever heard of her. And then the solution or the resolution to my problem is that Sally notices Mrs. Chipley has a bump on her head, and she must have got hit on the head and imagined this whole thing. And they've been on this wild goose chase that they didn't need to be on. So that was just my example. Obviously, your story should sound very different from that because I want you to come up with your own continuation of the story. But so yesterday, what I would have wrote is the first half of my story where I have these little events leading up to leading up to the characters figuring out that they've never heard of Aunt Sarah or they can't get into the house and all these little things. You notice I include dialogue, I include figurative language and descriptions. I wanted it to sound like the first half of the story. Today, what you're going to do is just right below where you were writing yesterday, you're going to continue. So you're going to finish your story or your rough draft of your story, and you're going to really focus on the plot or the events that are happening. Today is all about content. Tomorrow, you'll revise and edit, so you'll make it sound better. You'll fix some of the grammar things. But today, I want you to make sure that the content is there. So all of the events that are leading up to your conflict and your resolution are written out and explained. That is your assignment for today. So you should get to the end of your story. You should tie up all of those loose ends. It shouldn't end your story on a big cliffhanger where you don't know what happened to the characters or you don't know what happened to the different people or the setting or the conflict. It should all be wrapped up. There should be an answer to every question. You shouldn't leave your reader hanging, okay? And your last sentence of your story should sound like the end of a story. You should just be able to read the sentence and know that they're wrapping it up. This is the end. So something like, and after all they went through, Sally couldn't believe that it had all been in Mrs. Chipley's head, or something that signifies this is the end of the story. Not writing the end, but actually just finishing the story. Okay? If you need help or have any questions, you can reach out to your teacher or myself and we can help you. But today you need to finish your rough draft. So you need to finish on your in your story, your plot diagram, you need to finish your climax in your following action resolution. Okay? Have a fantastic day. Bye.